Whenever I see people discussing Rino's projects, I always hear them talk about Revived, Bell Roll 2, Endeavor 777, Devotion, Isolation, What We Have, Nothing More, Nothing Less, and even Fallen Raven now, since it just dropped, and it's an amazing project. All the delays and capping turned out to be really worth it. But the one project that's rarely ever mentioned is Intoxicated. Matter of fact, the only time I've heard people talk about that album is when they talk about how no one talks about it. Now that might sound pretty wild, but it's facts. It's always the one being left out of these conversations. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused on why it's like this, since I enjoy the album a lot, but it did take some time to grow on me. Since it's not your usual plug-and-be Summrs project, but I guess that can also be said for Isolation, and everybody likes that album. As of the making of this video, majority of the songs just barely hit 100k plays on Spotify, and a lot of them still have under 100k, which is crazy considering the fact that this album was highly anticipated by his fans, because it was constantly being delayed in 2020, because at that point, he was signed to Steven Victor, who also signed Wyland and Autumn, and basically, he had a bunch of issues with the label, and eventually Summrs had to get out of there and release it independently. So there was a long ass gap in between Isolation and Intoxicated. Well, I guess La Dolce Vita dropped in October of 2020, but that shit don't even count for real. And you know, Intoxicated's only a year old, so it's not like it's some rare album that you gotta dig for in one of the archived Summrs profiles. So why don't people fuck with it? Personally, I believe that it's the vibe of the album. I wouldn't say this is a project you would play at any mood. You gotta be in that chill or I guess melancholic mood, just think about life or some deep philosophical shit. Maybe it's because of the lack of bangers, with the only song ever being talked about is Z06, which is for sure a banger. This shit is currently sitting at a little over 2 million plays on Spotify, and it also has a music video with 1 million views. But there's still so many hidden gems on the project, like When MIA, Heat of the Moment, Know You Gon' Switch, Trying to Show You, Won't Last, Take Control, and to be honest, every song is just heat to me. You also got features from Ty Fontaine and Autumn, which work really well on the project. Keeping it real though, I feel like when you listen to a Summrs project, you can't just skip to the hits. You gotta listen to the entire thing, cause each of his albums has its own aesthetic. Skipping songs just sort of ruins the experience. You know, like, bro, y'all just gotta give it a chance and stop sleeping on Intoxicated. This album is really fire, and I like the diversity of sounds it brings to his discography. Now, he posted a snippet on his alt-IG page, saying that Intoxicated 2 is coming next winter. This was posted around 2 or 3 months ago. Now, knowing Rino, that shit is probably never dropping. I'm just keeping it real.
Vibes in the nighttime, bitch. Can we get some more?